Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, Ted. How are you? Are we reflective? Are we slowing it down? We're feeling good.
Yeah, I think we stay in the bucket of slowing down, to be honest with you. I think that, you know, one of the things that's interesting about doing these Monday morning jump starts with you is that, we're jumping from topic to topic. Some of them, obviously, like it's becoming a big ball of wax. And I think we've mentioned that before. But I do think we got to go back a little bit under this. I think we need to stay in the bucket of checking in.
Okay.
Because we've thrown stuff at them over the course. Yeah. So we talked about checking in with your goals, happiness. Last week we went deep into this emotional piece and checking in on that. But we had talked about this, and I'm not going to remember, I think a month or two ago, this values piece, right? And I remember you specifically saying that's hard work and you have to do the work.
Yeah.
And are you actually slowing down? So now we've 3 weeks in a row, we're slowing you down this month. Is pretty much what's happening. And we're asking you to check in before you just plow through second quarter. And so that values piece, I'd love to hear your take on it. But what I will say right out of the gate is, one, to the people that are listening, did you ever do the work?
Yeah.
Did you ever figure out what was most important to you? I don't know if you remember, but I framed up values. To me can be a big word to people. I always say just two things behind it. I think what's most important to you and what lights you up, what makes you happy, and then you're kind of getting into what you value the most. So the goals that we talked about 2 weeks ago, you might be resetting some of them, you're checking in on them, but are the goals actually supporting your values?
Love that.
You know what I mean? Again, slowing down, we're still in, last week we checked on this emotional thing. I do believe that we're still I'll speak for right? Unfortunately, I'm still in survival mode in many ways. And when I'm in survival mode, that I'm not necessarily leaning in or living through my values, or I'm not setting goals. I'm setting goals out of fear. Some of those things that we talked about last week. Because you're the one that said a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, like, you got to do the work. Mm-hmm. And here we are, 3-4 months have flown by. And now we have this values piece still floating out there.
It's so funny, Ted, because I said, yes, I said it's hard work because, again, I'm on this journey with everybody else because the last few months have been doing the work. And it's so because I take a class that's every Thursday. And sometimes I'm like, let me just skip class today. Like, do I really need to be there? Like, it'll be okay if I don't go, right? And I'm sure some listeners maybe skip our Monday mornings, or they skip one of their AWAI classes and think, it happens. But whenever I do, it's that check-in, and it's that keeping me on track with things. And the check-in with myself too. So maybe this is what we can also do to help everybody today. Like, if you use this 15, 10 minutes that you're watching this, right? Like, make that your check-in and your place, like, to have that and to keep that aligned. And like, I don't know if this helps anybody. I talked about that I journal, but I also, with this class and with me trying to grow, I keep that all in one spot, if that makes sense. So then you're seeing what you're learning every week. So like, maybe you have, like, for this Monday morning jumpstart, you have one place that you keep all of your notes or whatever comes to you after listening to us. And that way, like, because I love that idea, Ted, of tying your values into your goals. And because now you've had 5 months to see, is it going in that direction? Is it serving that, right? And to bring those two back together. And I think that as much as you kept it simple with just 2 things that you view as the values, I would also keep the goals and the values just as to hit until you hit them, like 3 maximum, right? Like, not this giant list of like 10 things that you want to be and 10 things that you want to achieve, because I don't think that serves. So maybe, like we talked about the to-do list, like crossing things off, right? Maybe if you are checking on with your goals and your values and there's just too many there, I would also like read that back again. But it's so important because we're just floating, right? And then you're floating and you get pushed to something else and you're like, how did I land up here? Like, it's not what I want. It's not what I believe, like all those things, right? So I think the work is not, same theme again, knowing yourself and coming back to yourself. And be best friends with yourself, right? And we talked about as well, yin and yang, a month ago, like the light and dark. And I will tell you something, this is really not on topic, but I think it's been such a theme and a big lesson for me over this last 6 months, where with yourself as well, like love all of it. You know what I mean? Like the yin and the yang, there's going to be parts of you that you might not feel proud of, or you try. We talked about like pushing down and emotions and things like that, but like just embrace all of it and love all of it, because you are human and you are beautiful as you are, right? There's nobody like aspires, or I shouldn't say aspires, looks up to like a perfect human, you know. Like there's no such thing.
Right.
So yeah, I know I'm saying.
You said a couple things in there. I think we gotta grab though, because you said keep everything in one spot, which I think that's a great thought right now, because you just spent the last 3 weeks layering on this stuff. But if you went back and you were taking notes, what was your check-in on your goals? Now, 2 weeks later, if you were keeping things in one spot, you'd be writing down what your values are. Do those goals support your values? You can be mind mapping on one page. Mind mapping is just putting down thoughts and then drawing arrows. This correlates or does not. And I love that idea. And then you said floating somewhere in there, like, which gave me pause, if I'm being completely honest with you, Jade, that we're doing these every week. And sometimes it's all a big ball of wax, yes, but we're also throwing different thoughts out all week. And you know me well enough that I am somebody that's not trying to recreate the wheel, right? I believe many of the answers are already out there, and many of the answers are already within us. And so, you know, I love when you said floating, because what that gave me was pause, in that we're not here to just throw a bunch of content at you or to give you a different thought every week as much as we are. There's going to be certain things that we're going to double down on. And as you've heard me say over the years, be unapologetically redundant on. So yeah, we talked about values a couple months ago. Here we are talking about it again. Why? Because I'm going to make the assumption that some of you didn't do the work. And that's the accountability piece that I think we need to weave into this, because we care enough to hold the people and the members of AWAI accountable, right? We need somewhere along the lines for all of this stuff to come to fruition. And I think that we'll serve the people best by not letting things float.
Yeah. So let's pin it down today, putting weight on it. We're checking in again, the chicken thing again, right? Like, are you doing the work? What are your values? Are you documenting? Are you working? And I also, you know, as much as it is hard work, I will say like 10 minutes a day goes a long way, right?
Yeah. This is not yet. Great point. Great point. This is not about time.
Yeah.
This is about intention and consistency, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. Well, accountability partners will be back with you next week.
Amen.
What do you think? Thank you, Ted.
Take care.